Well, thank you so much for coming. It's such a great feeling to be surrounded by like-minded people.
Thank you, Rick.
Amen.
We love you, Rick.
Well, you all know, I had some notes, but Rachel gave me bullet points, but I lost it somewhere. But it doesn't matter. You all know why we're here. So the main thing is to keep the pressure on tomorrow when this place closes. That's so important because the staff will be cut in half, and trying to feed, for example, 41 belugas in 3 tanks is pretty much impossible with any care. And I want to introduce you to Duke.
You're behind it.
This is Duke, and when I first came here in 1991, it was really Duke that brought me here. Some undercover footage that Karasan shot inside the warehouse of Duke and all of the others. You can see, if you look closely, his face is all scarred up. You can see what they call rake marks. This is from biting and fighting. His eyes are damaged, his jaw is damaged. And we actually found a place in the Turks and Caicos Islands to rehabilitate Duke. I don't think he was necessarily a candidate to be released in the wild, but he could have lived out his life at the Conch Farm, which is a fenced-in area. That's a square mile where Duke could have experienced the natural rhythms of the sea and the tides and the currents, and it wouldn't have cost John Holler anything. And he wouldn't do it. He let Duke die here. And
Shame.
He's going to do the same thing with this walrus that Phil Demers was talking about earlier. So I met with Phil last night, and we were trying to figure out how to get Smooshy back to Russia and released back in the wild. I mean, we might as well go for what we really want. That's what. It's probably not going to happen, but let's try to do it anyhow.
Yay!
And so we're trying to figure out how to do that. Maybe buy Smooshy, you know. I suggested last time. So I just met Phil. I don't know him that well, and he's asking me for advice, and I'm probably the last guy to ask because I suggested, knowing that Smooshy follows him everywhere, let's just go in there with the bolt cutters and park your truck outside and put him in the back of the pickup truck and take him home with you and lock the door. And see what happens, because he's going to die in there, or she, excuse me, it's a female. But she could go back to Russia and be rehabilitated and released back into the wild, and that's what we should be looking at. So my fear is that another recovering dolphin trainer here. So we don't know what's going to happen, but the important thing is to keep that issue alive after tomorrow. After tomorrow, John Holler, Marineland, the media will go away. They know that. They know that the public has a very short attention span, and this will all blow over. So it's important that we keep this alive. And how do we do that? Contact your legislatures. And if you want more information, go to the website. The information is there at marinelandanimalDefense.org or .com. marinelandanimalDefense.com. It'll be updated. It'll tell you what to do and get your friends to go there. And let's keep this issue alive. Otherwise, it's going to die. There's no question about it. Just like Smoochy, it's probably going to die. But let's try to get Smoochy back to Russia, or at least into Phil's garage. We can figure out what to do from there. But once we get the animal out of this dolphin abusement park and into his backyard, we can figure out what to do. The public around the world will support that effort. So that's one thing. Well, you can tell me if I leave anything out. Just so, by the way, a lot of people ask me about Japan because I just came from the Cove. And, and we have a team there, and I'll be going back there on Thanksgiving. I know it's Thanksgiving here, but in America it's in November, so we're returning there. And our work there is about getting the Japanese people involved, working with the Japanese people. We have about 9 Japanese people there now who are our co-monitors. There's only 2 of them there at the moment, but there'll be more. And trying to get the word out that the dolphin meat is contaminated and that we should not be eating it, and that is working. Before the Cove, they were killing 2,100 dolphins in the Cove. Today, last year, it was down to 800 because the demand is dropping.
Really important. We just lost power. It's really. Check right now?
Check.
Yep.
So it's really important to get the Japanese people involved and take ownership of the issue, and that's what we're doing over there. I'm a huge Ariana Gillis fan. She's going to be a household name in Tokyo at some point. And so she's agreed today to come to Japan, and we'll put a concert together and maybe a Japanese band. And it's another way of working with the Japanese people. Sometimes it's better to get people to be for something than against something. And one of the things we're doing is working with people in Makura, Miyakojima Island, where it's the opposite of Taiji, where people respect dolphins. And there's about 300 of them. They have names for them, and they desperately need tourists from Tokyo to come to these islands because they are like the forgotten victims. They had a volcano blow 5 years ago, and everybody had to leave the island for 5 years, and their economy's in shambles. So one of the things we're doing is we're putting together a concert in Tokyo called Tokyo Celebrates the Dolphin. Again, trying to get people to be for something instead of against something. And you'll hear more about that later. But back to Canada, yeah, the main thing is to keep this issue alive. That's the most important thing. Stop the importation of dolphins and other whales, especially from Russia. And in fact, when I leave here, that's where I'm going, to Washington, to try and stop the importation of 18 belugas. Yes, sir.
Is there any effect on the dolphins from Fukushima radiation? Is that a concern for you that dolphins are being irradiated by Fukushima?
Well, I was in Fukushima recently, and we brought some water and rice to people are living in these little steel boxes there, and I probably did get radiated, but it takes 30 years to get cancer. And I'm 73 next week, so I'm okay. I worry about Tim and some of my other colleagues who are younger than me that were there. We've been testing meat in Taiji. That's part of our work, is to buy the gondo meat and test it. We haven't found any radiation. We find mercury, methyl mercury, and PCBs in the meat, but not any radiation. If we could find it, that would be a huge, huge deal. We'd hold a press conference and it would cut off the demand immediately. But we haven't found any. Not yet. It doesn't mean it's not there. The dolphin meat we tested, the pilot whales that are coming to the Cove are coming from the south, but we've tested whale meat from further north of Fukushima, Iwate, and we have not found any radiation so far.